everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's Effie. I have Aisley and Nicole here, and they are the creators of the Mindflight Journal. So we're going to be talking about that today.
I'm Nicole, and I am the mother to Aisley. I am 53 years old. I've been married for 33 years. I have 5 daughters and 5.5 grandchildren. We'll probably start talking about our own chronic illnesses, but on lighter note, for me, besides being chronically ill, I enjoy being like a treasure hunter, I would say is how I describe myself. I like to go thrifting or look for seashells on the beach or sea glass or crystal. Since we've moved to Arkansas, we've lived in Arkansas for about 4 years now from California, and we love it here. But those traits that have come with me for treasure seeking have helped me be a researcher in chronic illness. So it's served me well.
I'm Aisley. I'm 25. Like she said, I'm her daughter. And I've been married for 6 years now, and I live in Arkansas. We grew up in California, but we've lived here for several years, like she said, and we love it here. It's beautiful. There's lots of things to do. In my free time, basically anything revolving music. I love singing to music. I love dancing to music, playing the piano, things like that, reading. We made the Mindflight Journal about 3.5 years ago now.
Yeah, I think so.
Which one of you lives with chronic illness?
We both do. There's a collection, and there's some things that are just familiar. So I have Ehlers-Danlos. It's a connective tissue disorder. You might know about it. Basically, it's a defect in the collagen that we make in our body, and so it affects just about every system and organ in your body. So I have all of the comorbidities with that too. I have POTS, postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome. I have multiple disc replacements in my back, infusions, issues with my joints, which I know your community will understand. Just a lot of things in my life have been affected by Ehlers-Danlos. And then in our whole family, so I have 5 daughters, I think almost all of them, I'm pretty sure, have Ehlers-Danlos or POTS or any of those things that go with that. I also have a daughter that has Chiari malformation, and she has a brain tumor that has given her epilepsy. And I have a grandson with spina bifida, tethered cord. And then my husband was recently diagnosed with early onset Lewy body dementia. So we have a lot of stuff.
Clearly, there's some kind of genetic thing going on.
I know the previous video I did with Emily, who created the healing journal, she has POTS too. So
Oh yeah.
yeah, she was talking about, the fatigue, the chronic pain. She has to see a rheumatologist as well. So we have different conditions, but they're all like, similar in some ways, so.
Yeah.
And I think it's important to also mention like what you guys were sharing about yourselves. Like we're more than our chronic illness. You guys have so many interests and hobbies, and obviously you guys made this connection to your chronic illness, but you can talk about that too, Aisley.
So right now I'm trying to get my diagnosis for POTS and for hypermobile Ehlers-Danlos. And so I actually just saw my cardiologist this morning. And so I've got my appointment for my tilt table test, which is the typical test they give POTS patients. So I got that this week. So I'm crossing my fingers that goes well, meaning hopefully I get a diagnosis. My appointment with a geneticist for Ehlers-Danlos is in August, which I made last year. So your community probably knows as well that sometimes it takes quite a long time to get into the specialist because you have to make your appointments almost, a year out.
Yeah.
I had symptoms since I was young, a child. Like my kneecap would dislocate or things like that. And I would always think that I was unlucky because I was always hurt. I was always like tearing some ligament or tendon or something. And it was probably maybe 7 or 8 years ago. Aisley was looking on Pinterest and she's like, this Ehlers-Danlos sounds like something, it sounds like you. And so, yeah, I knew it probably 5 years ago that I had it, but the geneticist is the golden standard for us to get diagnosed. And I finally got into a geneticist probably maybe a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years at the most. So it takes a long time.
So did you have your pregnancies and everything and you didn't know what your diagnosis was during those times? Okay.
No, I always went into labor early. I had all my babies early, which is kind of common for EDS as well. So everything, I just thought I was either unlucky or something was up, but it became apparent, especially the older I got, the more things started happening. So I'm glad that my girls know now, and they know what to look out for, and that they just have to make their bodies as strong as they can be, because they're going to have issues, sadly. And they do already.
Even for me, my sophomore year of high school, I remember going on a canoe trip and my knee swelled up like to the size of a melon, and then it went away after a couple of days. So they tested me for Lyme and a bunch of other things.
Oh yeah.
Because I would always go up to like Wisconsin or just like woodsy areas. So they didn't know, because sometimes RA and MS can even be a cofactor of long-term Lyme that's been undetected. So I've been tested 5 times for that. But I remember one time in high school, even before that camping trip, that like my ligament in my knee kind of got irritated and swollen. And I'm like, maybe I did something when I was playing softball or like volleyball. Right. I don't know what I was doing. Yeah. And I was wearing a brace because my sister had sprained her ligament during sports. So I was like, I just was wearing that around my house. And for a week, it was like that. And then it disappeared. So it was just like all these weird little things. But that actually happened in my right knee that I now have a total knee replacement on. So the damage was for a long time probably occurring, and even for rheumatologists, they say the best indicator of knowing how much damage you have in your joints is an ultrasound or like some other thermography stuff. Like x-rays don't pick up the earliest damage at all. And that's a shame, because sometimes people don't know they're even having mild damage. It doesn't come up on an x-ray until it's like moderate sometimes, so that was kind of my situation. But I have your journal here today, and it's a really beautiful evergreen color. And then you guys personalize the package. I'm going to put a photo up here. Who draws that, by the way? I wanted to know who illustrates that, because it's really well done.
Do. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of important to us because we feel like people in the chronic pain community are just so overlooked sometimes, and it's easy to feel isolated. And so it's just like, I don't know, kind of a personal quest that each person that gets the journal feels like, we saw them, we're thinking about them, and we want them to just feel like, I don't know, they're special for just a moment.
Yeah, that really made my day. I love that.
Oh, I'm so glad.
I'm actually going to save it. I know Allie from another DRA who posted this. She shared how it was personalized. She said she was going to save it too.
We kind of got the idea for it when I was in college and I was getting my biology major. And I was learning a lot about growth mindset and also just a lot about the brain development and how it grows. And one thing that was extra interesting to me was how when you have a new thought, your mind literally, the neurons in your brain will literally make a new physical connection. And so let's just say that thought is like, I can do this, like an affirmation, I can do this. Well, the first time it forms, it takes a little bit more effort, but the more that you think that thought, the easier it is for your mind to make that connection, because that pathway gets stronger and stronger. And I found that super interesting, because when you start thinking things like that, or better yet, writing those things down, that kind of mindset of positivity and growth is really solidified, and it can really start improving your life. And so when I was talking to her while she was going through some health issues, we wanted to take that idea and use it to help people with chronic illness. And we thought, well, while we're at it, we might as well find a way for them to track their health. That's how we got the idea for making this journal. And so our journal is set up so that you have one portion is for tracking all of your physical symptoms, and you're mapping out your pain and keeping track of your medications, things like that. And then the other is more for your mind, focused on that growth mindset and making those connections in your brain. And so the way we did that was by making some quotes and by writing prompts. And the writing prompts vary. Some are more creative, some are more like, what have you learned from your chronic illness? Like, what kind of skills have you developed and things like that. And then we also have a daily challenge of things you can do, as well as a gratitude section. And that's one of those sections that we think is most important, because the more you're looking for positive things in your life, the stronger those connections in your mind will be. And pretty soon, you're always going to be looking for the good things that are going on, even if you're physically dealing with a lot. So it makes a big difference. And that's kind of how we started it.
When you go to like a doctor's office, they don't often talk about like the emotional or mental health impact that your diagnosis may have if you're newly diagnosed, or even if you're on this journey for like, years. And so that's not really the first question they ask. It's usually like, how are you feeling physically? So, I mean, this is like a really good way for people to even like track down their symptoms and bring it to their doctor.
There's been a lot of interesting studies about journaling and what it can do for your mental health and other things too. Like there's even a study that said that when they tested people, they would have them write about like their troubles in the journal, and then they would test the wounds, and the people who wrote, their wounds healed more quickly. So there's a lot of things that aren't just, typical of, when you say journal writing, you think of today I did this.
Right.
But like for us, when we made this, it was specific prompts that would help you grow and help you learn it. Like maybe even just see yourself in a different way to like remind yourself how strong you are.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a lot of interesting data out there on the benefits of journaling that we thought would be really beneficial. We've always journaled and it's been great for us.
So sometimes that can be overwhelming. It's like, where do I start? And like,
Right.
how do I journal? What do I say? And so, yeah, I like how you guys make it specific, because I think that's what journaling is about. You need to kind of go within, and it's like your self-reflection, self-discovery journey in a way to grow and allow yourself to like see how you're changing throughout the process.
Yeah. And we feel like it's a validation process too, to know that like, maybe you can't tell everybody, oh, today was a bad day. I felt this pain and that pain, but you always can, go to your journal at night or whenever you do it, and you can write it down and you can feel validated. Okay, I've got it out on paper, and it kind of releases that angst that maybe is going through your mind throughout the day and lets you just, get it out of your system and put it on paper. So it's validating, and then it also helps you grow.
And I think that's important. Like even before when you wake up and going to bed, like you need to kind of release it on your own first, because like you said, you may not have anyone to talk to. You may have people around you, but you don't feel comfortable. Or let's say you're in therapy, you can't like call your therapist like at 11 o'clock at night. Like you need to also have accountability for your own self to realize like, hey, like this wasn't a good day, or I did this and I could have done better. So. But is there anything else you guys want to share about the journal? I really love the logo too. What made you guys want to call
it? You heard about that?
Mindflight, and like the bird, I love birds too. So I'm actually writing a children's book. And
really?
Yeah, I've been writing this one for a while, but I have like several I'm writing, but this one is like my baby because it's something I wrote when I was recovering during knee surgery. So it's the main character is an owl. So I love birds. But yeah, what made you guys want to pick this?
Yeah. It's specific for a reason. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, it kind of ties back into the idea of just how powerful your mind is. And sometimes, we might feel a little bit trapped by the physical trials we face with our bodies. And so sometimes it's just comforting to remember that regardless of our physical issues, our minds are always free to grow and to learn and to do things that make our lives better. And so that's kind of where we got the word mindflight, and I feel like a bird depicts that fairly well. I don't know. That's the best symbol we could come up with.
No, I love it. Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess too, one thing I forgot to mention is that each prompt is different for each day. The journal lasts 6 months, and so we understand that like journaling is kind of a hard habit to create, like any habit is, but we thought that if we had a new prompt for each day, not only do you get different benefits from different prompts, but that it might make it easier for you to continue the habit, because it's kind of fun to see what you're gonna write about that day. Yeah, you'll just get different benefits from each one. Some of them are more fun and silly, and some of them are more serious.
Like we can read you some.
Yeah. I also think it's fun to see what you're going to get the next day. Like, what am I going to see?
Some things that we put down, like a challenge would be draw a self-portrait, or invite a friend over, or plan for a longer chat on the phone. Like these are just things that you could do daily. Write out an encouraging phrase and leave it where someone you don't know will find it. So like little things each day that get you out of yourself. Like you're looking out for others, or maybe you're discovering something about yourself, or maybe you're just like having a bath, lighting a candle.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Lots of different ways. And then some of the journal prompts are like, write about a time you stepped outside your comfort zone. Write a note to a relative who will be born 100 years from now. Or let's see, list 5 things that make your life worth putting up with the storm. So just different kind of variety of things to get you going.
Yeah.
And then for this journal, there's like, I like how you guys keep the date empty. So then people can just, that's one thing that has stressed me out about some journals where it's like they kind of require you to do it every day,
Right.
and it's like, if I miss a day, it's like you get stressed out and overwhelmed and you're like, I don't know. Sometimes people get in their heads about that. I know I used to, but now if I skip days, I'm like, whatever.
It's actually better because in the research that I've done on journaling, they're saying it's not like doing it every day. Those people might be like, well, today I went to the grocery store, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Writing down things like that doesn't help you necessarily, as much as like they would say like an immersive session with a journal, like a long pouring out of your heart, but it doesn't have to be every day. So it's okay to skip a day. It's probably even better if you have something meaningful that you need to journal about rather than something just mundane. Like I think in the chronic illness community, sometimes you kind of lose hope about what you can do because you're limited. But learning new things and developing talents, I think, is really healing. And so like we both love to explore things. We love to paint, we love to draw, we love to make things and create. And I think when you can get in that zone where you're doing things like that, it's very healing. It sounds like you like to do that as well.
Yeah, I do. But I try to find time every day to do that.
We just feel like it's really important to have other ways of dealing with things besides just medicine and going to the doctor when you have a chronic illness.
Yeah, for sure. So where can people find you guys? I know that you're on Instagram and your Instagram handle is Mindflight Journal, and I will link all your stuff in the description box below so people can find you guys. But where else can they buy this?
So you can go to our website, which is also mindflightjournal.com, or we also sell our journal on Etsy. And the handle's the same there. Either three of those avenues you can get to us from. Am I missing anything?
No. Yeah. We just try to put up, some inspirational things on Instagram, but we love sending these out to people. Like it makes our day. And we've had a lot of good responses from people who have all different kinds of illnesses. So we're just glad we can reach out to the RA community because we found a lot of people who are interested.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like we said, we have similarities, and chronic illness, like it's a whole big spectrum of physical and emotional things that we all have to deal with. So
it really is.
Yeah, this journal is also for people who may not even live with a chronic illness, or they're just going through something else, maybe even surgery recovery.
People with depression or anxiety or teenagers that just need to, get a little bit of positivity in their lives. We've had a lot of good response for people who've used it for all kinds of different issues in their life.
Yeah, and I'm going to go leave a review on Etsy. Thank you guys for coming on and talking. I really appreciate it.
Oh, no, we appreciate it.
Yeah.
Happy journaling.
You too. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.